Sentinel agents are overrated.
Oh my god. If I had like 4 of these, I would use it for sure, yeah.
During Loud's first match of the VCT season, they pulled out this comp against Sentinels. Do you remember the last time you saw Phoenix on Ascent? Nearly 70% of all VCT Ascent comps last year had the same exact 5 agents, which are the same 5 agents that Sentinels are playing against Loud. For comparison, here are some other maps and their most played comps. It's really only the Ascent meta that has seen the exact same comp over and over. So how were Loud able to make Phoenix and Breach work so effectively on Ascent, and how did Sentinels respond to something they've never seen before? This video is sponsored by Immortal Roadmap. If your rank is below Radiant, you play at least 2 to 3 comp games a day, and you've been struggling to rank up, our sponsor has a crazy offer for you. The Immortal Roadmap program will teach and help you implement everything you need to hit Immortal Plus in 8 weeks. They're so confident in their coaching that they are the only coaching program that offers a 5 division rank up in 8 weeks, guarantee or your money back. They've helped hundreds of students hit Immortal and Radiant, and their coaching staff consists of Konpeki and over a dozen Radiant coaches with VCT experience, such as Comet, who's an analyst on Ascend the year they won champs in 2021, Screwface, who's the 6th man on EG when they won champions in 2023, and Gangsta, who played on Disguised, Immortals, and Knights. Sign up soon because there are only 42 spots remaining for the next season. Now let's get back to how Loud completely broke the Ascent meta. Loud start this game on attack, and in round 1, they default control of A main with the Breach stun. The Ascent meta has always revolved around A main control, and recently, teams have been using a KO knife lineup to prevent defenders from setting up traps in A main. But Loud can use Breach stun instead, which means that they can save KO knife for the actual execute. Even though Sentinels are playing Retake on A, we'll still get to see Loud's utility combos. The KO knife tags Killjoy in Tree, who was forced to pop her mollies early, and Loud has an answer for every spot on A except for the right side of Heaven, where Jett finds an opening for a pick. Teams often like to play Retake on A, and Loud have been burned by this in the past, so they've developed multiple contingency plans if a defending team can easily retake the site. Firstly, they place a late lurk through Cat, but this gets spotted out by Sentinels when they use their KO knife to clear it. Loud still has one more trick up their sleeves. The rest of Loud are tasked with stalling enough time for the Viper mollies to kick in, and they do exactly that by playing in the door smoke and hiding in Hell. It seems like Loud have lost this round, but they were able to stall just enough time for the Viper mollies to kick in and deny the defuse. Viper proves to be a vital part of their comp, and we'll really see why in more ways than just post-plant lineups. At the beginning of this round, we saw Viper Wall used by Loud, which cuts off mid and tree. They also throw an Omen Smoke Cat at the start of the round. This automatically creates an advantage in mid for Loud, and is the reason why all of Sentinels chose to rotate safely through their spawn. So Loud have these insane utility combos that make A very hard to hold, but simultaneously, they're able to get a lot of free control in mid with their smokes, and this becomes the basis for their attack side strategy. Although Sentinels make some adjustments, Loud already know what they'll try to do. B main is a weak point for Loud because they have no Sentinel agents to hold it, so Sentinels go for a B main push on their eco. Loud plays the same setup as the round before, but once they see the Sova Dart in B main, this becomes their cue to take A. With the free sight on an anti-eco, Loud can close this round out really easily. In round 3, Loud continues to take A main control with their utility, but Sentinels take the risk to push the molly. This is a type of play that will only work once per game, but it was a great play because someone is 100% sticking the orb since their molly is up, giving Zekken a good chance at the kill. Loud continues to use their smokes in mid for free control, and you can see that Les throws a Viper orb into B main to try and prevent the B main aggression, which is the one weak point in their setup. Loud eventually make their way onto B, but Sentinels commit towards sites and fight together so they can use their gun advantage. Remember this concept as it'll come up again in a future round. Now we get to the first fair gun round of the game. Take note how Sentinels are playing towards their spawn in B and pull towards A main because of the pressure that Loud is putting on them. That means mid is left completely open again, and 2 Loud players stroll into the cat smoke to punish Zekken pushing alone. Even though Sentinels close out this round with great fighting on A, you can clearly see the tactics working well for Loud. With this heat map of Sentinels positions on defense from augment.gg, we can actually see how little Sentinels were able to contest mid and how far back they were pushed towards their spawn throughout this entire half. The double controller setup is creating a real chokehold on mid control. In the next couple rounds, it's really cool to see the problem solving going on for Sentinels. Sentinels want to stop Loud's priority of A main and also punish their weak side towards B. But this is the perfect opportunity for Loud to swap their strong side towards mid in round 5. While Sentinels are dealing with the extremities of the map, Loud are allowed to take a lot of control in mid and convert it into great opportunities for kills. Sentinels made a huge mistake this round by pushing into mid late into the round against an eco. Their best bet at this point is to let Loud keep control of mid and force them to execute a site, where Sentinels have a chance to take some real gunfights with their gun advantage. Sassy tries his best against his old teammates, but Loud have stolen a thrifty round. If you're Sentinels in this situation, the obvious conclusion is taking back mid control. It's been the cause of multiple rounds of uncertainty and confusion, so it's exactly what Sentinels do. But Loud know this, and they're more than happy to take the early gunfights given to them, especially when they are the ones who can control the Viper wall and have the breach utility to contest it with. Contesting mid didn't work for Sentinels, so in the next round, they commit to an A-side stack with a bait setup featuring 2 players in heaven. Zekin is likely trying to peek first and then dash across. This should give Tens a chance for a multi-kill. But immediate stacks like this are usually a bad sign that defenders have lost control of the game, because it means that they've given up on playing the information game and are gambling a setup. Loud takes full control of mid uncontested and turns it into a B split with breach ult, which looks unwinnable for Sassy, but Tens throws this omen smoke and Sassy finds a crazy position to dodge the breach ult. This individual play saves the round for Sentinels, but we can really see that Sentinels haven't found strategical answers for Loud's comp. But starting from the next round, we'll see a hint at a solution. Sentinels attempt their trap on A again, but once they have info that Loud are towards mid, Zekin rotates to retake mid with the Sova drone. Loud loses their breach, who had full utility, and this severely handicaps them when they ultimately hit B. Alright, obviously something went wrong in Loud's comms for breach to die like this, but Sentinels were still finally able to disrupt Loud in mid, and it led to one of their first decisive rounds in a while. Unfortunately, they cycle back to instant A main aggression in the next round, but remember when I said that pushing the molly would only work once? Seconds into the round and Loud have another great advantage to play from. But we're just gonna ignore that because in round 10, Sentinels went back to what worked and finally found their answer. Tens makes an aggressive TP play into a smoke towards tiles, paired with the Sova dart. Since the dart pinged nothing and Tens saw Omen top mid when falling back, this signaled to them that Loud must be towards A. Sentinels rotate quickly while Sassy is now set up in tree to Odin spam and disrupt Loud running in. The Odin spam combos well into a fast retake and Sentinels never let Loud get comfortable on site. This was a very decisive round from Sentinels that showed they had control from the start of the round, and we see a similar setup in the last round of the half. Again, 2 players set up to contest mid with a Sova dart into tiles. When the dart pings no one and noise is heard in A main, Sentinels begin to rotate, and it's Sassy's Odin spam paired with Killjoy utility that gets a lot of free damage and buys time for the rotates. Sentinels make it just in time to fight for control of tree and defend their retake ult, which leads to their 7th round. Sentinels eventually found a good solution to Loud's setup, but it was mainly their individual performances that kept them in the game long enough to do so. I mean, just look at how many kills Sassy and Sentinels have compared to Loud at this point, but that's not something you can rely on in Valorant. Going into the second half of the game, Loud quickly gains back their round deficit with their own fast retake setup on A. Take note how Loud are constantly peeking cat and mid throughout their rotation phase to ensure that there isn't someone trying to take a lurk timing. Once the spike is tapped, it's go time, and in an instant, Sentinels are put in a very tough spot. Despite John Cutie's crazy aim, this is just too hard of a clutch for him to win. These fast A retakes are seriously deadly, and I doubt teams will continue to force their way in without better contingency plans. Round 15 is when the game starts to really get interesting. We start to see the full potential of Loud's comp on defense as they force themselves through B link and B main, but Sentinels are able to successfully avoid the trap and retreat all the way back to their spawn. Loud absolutely love this type of play, where they're very aggressive on one side and then quickly stack towards the other. Watch how it works well for them in this eco round against EG on Haven last year, where they fight mid hard and then immediately stack A to catch EG off guard. But in this round, Loud makes a crucial mistake, which is not keeping at least one player around B main to collect info. John Cutie makes an amazing call not to go to the site that they were pushed toward, but to retake the side that Loud pushed, and this safely earns them B site, securing their first round of the half. One of the major trade-offs from Loud's comp is that they don't have a Sentinel, but we haven't seen this really punish them yet until this round. Sentinels run a B hit with Killjoy ult, and usually a Killjoy anchoring B can pop mollies to stall attackers when they try to enter the site, but it's much harder for Viper to do the same. With this play, Sentinels earn their 9th and final round of the game, because we're about to see the full potential of Loud's new Killjoy-less comp on defense. Loud's comp has the potential to stall even more time than a Killjoy can. Both controllers, Omen and Viper, have rechargeable smokes, and on top of that, Sentinels have 4 mollies and a breach aftershock in their comp. This means that when smokes are down, chokes can be mollied to buy time for smokes to recharge, and comboing mollies with smokes is strong anyway. We see a phenomenal play this round where Sadhak first gets a kill with his judge in A main. Then, Sadhak throws his molly in A main while Phoenix throws his molly on Cat. Sentinels are expecting a judge in A main and Phoenix in tree, but both players immediately swap positions and the Cat players are surprised to see the judge pushing them in Cat. This is the type of play that wins games, and Sadhak earns an ace for it. This double controller comp actually has a lot of potential to stall, but it's also extremely strong at controlling information when paired with good IGL calls. On attack, Loud uses their smokes to earn free mid control, but on defense, Loud can make it very hard for Sentinels to control mid themselves. They have full priority of mid control on defense, and in this round, it gives them a great angle to retake B when 2 players flank from B main. In the next round, they have a full util trap in mid and catch Sentinels in the open. Now you should start to understand the core of their game plan. Loud's double controller comp forces the game into a state where flashes are very valuable, but Loud are the ones with an abundance of flashes, not Sentinels. This is probably why Sadhak said that the old Sky was absolutely broken in this comp.
It used to be even better, but with the Sky nerf, we took a toll.
One interesting thing to point out is how Sentinels drop the bomb in mid, but are planning to hit a site and use Omen ult to retrieve the bomb. This is a smart idea if Loud decided to defend the spike, but Loud know that the spike's position was a bit too dangerous to hold and had already decided to give it up. So unfortunately for Sentinels, this meant that there were already 3 players on B ready for the execute. Sadhak knows that Sentinels won't try their luck in mid for a couple rounds. He makes the call for Loud to play rotations and commit towards sites in the few remaining rounds. In round 20, Loud stack towards A because they have breach ult to retake B. Watch how Sentinels entirely path around mid and leave it completely untouched this round. Once Sentinels see that B site was left completely open, they start to realize that Loud are going to use the breach ult to retake. This is why 3 players stay off-site in B main, because they're attempting to dodge the breach ult. But even though they tried to counter the retake, this didn't work at all. And the only thing that could have stopped this type of retake was, you guessed it, some mid control. Sentinels start the next round probing into mid. Sentinels are hoping that they'll bait Loud to come fight them again, but Loud are committed to their setup, which no longer involves controlling mid at all. They continue to defend the extremities and play rotates towards sites from spawn. Loud are successful at defending B main, and this earns them important advantages in which they are able to use to retake A. This brings Loud to match point, and we get to the final round of the game. My favorite games are like this, where you can see a clear back and forth going on between the IGLs. John Cutie knows that Loud are playing towards sites now, and would probably let them walk up mid. Last time Sentinels died to Loud's trap in mid, it was because Loud heard Zelsis running loudly from tiles to Cat, which is a cue for them to activate their trap card. This time around, Sentinels are silent and work up quietly, but Sadhak saved an op into this last round, and this is the best counter for this type of contact play. Les baits for him by killing the drone, and Sadhak takes the angle right after to catch Zekin walking right into his crosshair. This starts a chain of contact plays for Sentinels that each fall apart one by one, and Loud shows the world again why they really can't be underestimated. For Sentinels, it's safe to say that they made a good effort regardless of the scoreline. We looked objectively at every single round of the game, and there was always an attempt from Sentinels to do something different that made a lot of sense. but Loud are so familiar with playing against the default comp that they know exactly how Sentinels are going to respond to everything. I'm excited to see this matchup again in the future, as I'm absolutely positive that John QT and the Sentinels coaching staff won't let Loud get the last laugh. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. I want to give a special shout out to Edison's Math Club on Twitter, who helped give some ideas for this video. Let me know your favorite VCT moments so far, and I'd appreciate it if you dropped a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys next time.